Ladies and gentlemen, please repeat after me. UFC 303. UFC 303. This has been a roller coaster of a card. The original main event, as we all know, Conor McGregor was supposed to take on Michael Chandler. This fight is no longer happening. It's been postponed till August. Conor had an injury. He broke his toes and he needed more time to heal. So they had to cut off the fight. But mind you, UFC always pulls it off all the time. They have given us a better main event, in my opinion. We have Alex Pereira taking on Jiří Procházka. These two guys fought in Madison Square Garden, UFC 295 in November last year, and I was there live. And I have to be honest, this is the best fight that I had seen real life, no doubt about that. It was full of action from the start to the finish. Those boys brought the heat, man. This is actually a hard fight for me to pick, if I'm being totally honest. It's a very tough fight for me to pick. There's a lot of things going on around this fight. The first thing I have to say is this is a short notice fight for both guys. We don't know how these two guys, if they've been training, how fit they are, whatever. Of course, they're professionals. They're always ready to fight. But there's a difference between when you're ready for the training camp and when you're just chilling or whatever. So we just don't know. That is like a question mark going into this fight. But one thing I can say is it's not going to last 5 rounds. That is one thing for sure. I can probably put money on it. It's not going to last 5 rounds. Let's talk about Jiří Procházka for a second. You guys remember the last fight that he had? He was actually off for a year and a half. The guy had an injury. He had a shoulder injury. So I'm going to have to give him a benefit of doubt. Coming back after a year and a half and fighting a killer like Alex Pereira. I didn't think he was 100% prepared for that fight. He might have thought he was prepared, but I don't think he was realistically. Cage rust is a real thing for some people. Although he looked a bit sharp in the fight, but I think he could have done better. But my point now is I think we're going to get a different Jiří this time than the one that we had in November, Madison Square Garden. I think Jiří will be more prepared. Jiří knows what at stake for this fight. The guy knows this could be his last chance for that belt. Because let's be honest, you can only get so much chances and then another guy will move into your spot and then it just keeps going that way and keeps going that way. So I think he knows that he needs to take advantage of this chance and I am pretty confident that he will. But let's talk about Alex Pereira for a second. The guy is full of confidence. He's been knocking people out. He finished Jiří the last time. Some people thought it was an early stoppage. I thought it was okay. I thought it was a perfect stoppage. Although maybe 1 or 2 punches might have sealed it and cut off the whole argument about early stoppages, but I thought it was a beautiful stoppage. The guy is full of confidence. The guy is on a roll. The guy is a champion. The guy probably has it in his head. I know how to knock Jiří out. Because let's face it, Jiří always puts his hands down. The guy is hittable. Although he's a tough man, very, very tough man, as tough as they get, but Jiří is still hittable, no question about that. So Alex Pereira is probably thinking in his head, I can get this done. That was probably why he took the fight in short notice. And obviously the money as well. I'm sure he's going to get paid handsomely for this to save the card one more time. So all these things added together. Oh, I can win this fight and I'm getting paid for it. Let's go. But I'm not underestimating Jiří for this fight. He had a good fight against Rakic the last time. Although he got his leg chewed on him, those leg kicks, he needs to address them leg kicks because Alex Pereira is definitely coming for those leg kicks. That is one of his weapons. So he needs to at least address those leg kicks. But that guy is a tough man, as I said. He's going to keep coming forward, keep coming forward. It's a 50-50 fight, but I have to pick one, and I'm going to pick Jiří. I think he's going to get it done, and it's not going to last 5 rounds. The co-main event then, we have Ortega versus Diego Lopes. This fight is actually another last-minute fight that the UFC put together to spice up the card after we lost Conor McGregor versus Chandler. This is a hell lot of a spice, I'm telling you. This is the best spice you can ever use for your soup or whatever you want to put it. This is the best spice ever. Ortega always brings it. Ortega is probably one of the toughest men in the UFC, full stop. That guy is too tough for his own good. He always gets it in the fight and comes back, never gives up. It's very hard to put away. That guy is, oh man, he's a tough man. All these guys are tough, no doubt about it, but you have some guys that are just extra tough. And Ortega falls into that category for me personally. That guy is tough. And then when you talk about his skills, he can strike. Not the best striker in the world, but he can strike. He knows how to strike. get hit, but he can also give it back. His jiu-jitsu is on point. We all know that. Brian Ortega probably has the best jiu-jitsu in 145. I was going to say in the UFC, but maybe not. We have Charles Oliveira and those guys there as well. But Brian Ortega definitely has to have one of the best jiu-jitsu. And the thing about Brian Ortega's jiu-jitsu is effective in MMA. The guy can grab your neck at any time. The guy is really good. He can submit you. He can threaten submissions from anywhere, standing on the floor, anyhow you want it. Brian Ortega will bring it. This is going to be a hell of a fight. This could actually be the fight of the night. Although the main event is also have a potential of being the fight of the night, but I would say this is probably going to be the fight of the night. And then what can I say about Diego Lopes? A future superstar. The guy is rising that way. That guy is really good. That guy knows how to strike. He's well-rounded. He has that it factor as well. The guy is one of those guys whereby you know if he keeps winning the fight, he's automatically going to be a superstar because he just has it. People like the way he fights. He has a very good way that he fights. He's very entertaining. He's a knockout artist. The guy knocked out Sodiq Yusuf for crying out loud in his last fight. Do you know what it takes to knock out Sodiq Yusuf? That guy is as durable as they get. And the guy finished Sodiq Yusuf in the first round. Diego Lopes is no joke. That guy is a real deal, I think. I think he's going to go all the way up. I hope he does because it's nice to have another character coming up. That's what it's all about. Fighters coming up, some going down and some coming up. Diego Lopes is definitely one of those guys that I would like to see get to the top. And if he can win this fight against Brian Ortega, man, this is just going to seal the deal for the guy and sky is the limit. For these reasons, I'm going to have to pick Diego Lopes. That is my pick. So the fight before the co-main event, we have Anthony Smith taking on Roman Dolidze. This is why I say the UFC 303 is being a roller coaster, guys. Man, let me tell you how this fight came about. The original fight was supposed to be Ghemmouri taking on Khalil Rountree. Khalil Rountree was flagged for a banned substance. He failed the drug test. So they had to pull out of the fight. The next after that then, Carlos Ulberg, the guy jumped in for Khalil Rountree. This guy fights in Israel Adesanya's camp. He's a very good fighter actually. He has a very explosive nature. He has a knockout power. So now we have Ghemmouri taking on Carlos Ulberg. Things happen. Ghemmouri had to pull out as well. Apparently he has a lot of injuries lingering at the moment. He had to pull out. He had no choice. So now we have another replacement replacing Ghemmouri, which is the man himself, Anthony Smith. This works out perfectly for Anthony Smith because Anthony Smith was training with Ghemmouri all along and he was kind of in a good shape. Although he wasn't training for his own fight, but he was still in a good shape. So this works out perfectly for him. So he jumped in. So it's him versus Carlos Ulberg. Just over 24 hours ago, we heard Carlos Ulberg is injured. And this is only a week to UFC 303. The guy is injured and now they had to find a new replacement for him, and the new replacement is Roman Dolidze. So this is how we came about this fight. From Ghemmouri versus Khalil Rountree, we ended up with Anthony Smith taking on Roman Dolidze. This is crazy, but I'm not complaining. Anthony Smith is a veteran. This is going to be a good fight against Roman Dolidze. I'm going to pick Anthony Smith right from the bat. I pick Anthony Smith to win this fight. The reason why I pick Anthony Smith to win this fight is he's been training, as I said. The guy is a veteran. Although Anthony Smith is unpredictable, he's not someone you can really throw money on. Sometimes the fights that he's supposed to win, he doesn't win it. But I think he's going to win this one because I think he's in a good state of mind at the moment in general. From what I'm hearing in his interviews anyways. Also, Anthony Smith just needs to use his wrestling, I think. He needs to use that weight. Although Anthony Smith was fighting in the middleweight before, he's now a full-grown light heavyweight. The guy is massive. If he can use that massiveness against Roman Dolidze, who is originally a middleweight fighter, he's only fighting light heavyweight because it's a short notice and he's just jumping in. Of course, he's going to get paid for it. So that's why he's jumping in. He is a big middleweight, but in light heavyweight, Anthony Smith will be quite bigger than him. So I think if Anthony Smith can use his wrestling, take him down, ground and pound, I think he should be able to win this fight. But something for Roman Dolidze that I have to point out is the guy is a macho man. The guy can fight. The guy is not afraid to move forward. He knows how to swing. He has a standard kickboxing method that he uses to fight. Nothing spectacular. He has a good double leg takedown that he uses to take people down. He might try that on Anthony Smith. I don't know. But one thing I know for a fact, he has a good top game. But when he's at the bottom, it's not as good as when he's on top. So that is why I'm picking Anthony Smith. If Anthony Smith can implement the right game plan, he should be able to win this fight comfortably, I think. So my pick is Anthony Smith. This takes us to the women bantamweight fight. I love the bantamweight fighting. Oh my God, I love the bantamweight fighting, especially when Amanda Nunes was fighting. I couldn't get enough of Amanda Nunes fighting. But anyways, Amanda Nunes is gone. We have new, fresh blood in the bantamweights. These girls are trying to make a name for themselves, and I wish them the best of luck. But anyways, we have Mayra Bruno Silva taking on Macy Chiasson. This is going to be a great, great fight. The two women know what's at stake. They know if they put a run together, they're going to be fighting for the belt. It's a no-brainer because that division now is wide open. As I said, Amanda Nunes is gone. We have Pennington as the champion at the moment. The division is just wide open, and you have to remember something. Pennington fought Bruno Silva the last time she won. That was how she won the belt. But this is very interesting division, I think. I think the belt is going to be switching from Mrs. A to Mrs. B to Mrs. C, I think. This belt, no one is going to hold that belt like the way Amanda Nunes held that belt for years. It's not going to happen, I don't think. And that's what makes this division even slightly more interesting, if I'm being honest. So what can I say about this fight? This is a tough fight for me to pick, but I'm going to have to pick Bruno Silva. I'm going to have to pick her for this fight because I think she learned a lot from that Pennington fight that she lost. And although Macy Chiasson, she's good. She won the Ultimate Fighter as well, and it's not easy to win the Ultimate Fighter. It's going to be a good fight, but I have to pick one person. As I said, I'm going to pick Mayra Bruno Silva. That is my pick for this one. And then you have the very first fight of the main card. This is going to be the main card opener. You have a striker versus a striker. You have Machado Garry versus Michael Venom Page. This is going to be either a very boring fight or a very interesting fight. Two strikers going at it. It's a very hard fight to pick. I don't know who is going to win this fight. I have a feeling it's going to go 3 rounds. It's going to be a point round fight because of the way Garry fights. He's a smart fighter. He knows how to circle around. He engages when he wants to engage and disengages when he wants to disengage. That's how Garry fights. He's a smart fighter. He's a striker. I don't think anyone is going to take anyone down in this fight. It's going to be a complete striking battle. There could be some clinches against the fence and maybe some half takedowns, something like that. But I don't see anyone throwing a double leg or going for a single leg in this fight. It's going to be a stand-up fight. I just hope it's going to be an interesting, entertaining stand-up fight. I know Michael Venom Page is always entertaining. The guy is going to bring it. He's very unorthodox striking. A gun to my head, I'm going to have to go for Michael Venom Page. That's who I'm going to have to go for. I think he has a little bit more experience, and he probably thinks he has something to prove in this fight. And I think he wants to show us that, look, I'm in the UFC now. I can beat most UFC fighters. I think that is at the back of his mind, you know. And why not? The guy is a brilliant fighter. He's only had 2 losses in his career so far. He's not a spring chicken. He's getting closer to his 40s than he is in his 30s. But I still believe he has another 2 years. And I think he might pull this off against Machado Garry. Mike and Vernon Page, my pick. I hope you guys enjoy the fight. It's gonna be a hell of a card. Even the prelims. Watch everything, the prelims and the main card. But this is obviously only a main card prediction. Enjoy the fight. Hit that bell. Subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. That always helps. And you can comment and let me know who you think is gonna win in the main card. Take care. Ciao.